Okay, game 3, and there are a few interesting things on this one, just like the previous game. There's black market, and the black market deck looks decent. If you could rip Chapel out of it quite early, that's good for you. Ironmonger is a good card as usual. Cultist is there, and there's no nice way to get rid of ruins. Apprentice can trash them, but you don't really want to be using a apprentice for that, right? Anyways, so there's Peasant here as well, and I thought that Peasant would actually be decent here, given that there's Cultist and Ironmonger, meaning there's um, a pile from which you will probably have a lot of action cards from. So I did consider opening with the black market here, but I think the Peasant is just better because of the presence of these piles, Ironmonger and Cultist particularly. So you want to get the teacher as soon as possible to get the benefit from the peasant as soon as possible. Additionally, there's a moneylender. Opening double terminal with Necropolis is a little bit better, and moneylender is your only source of, well, not your only source, but is the nicest source of trashing on the board. Apprentice, getting rid of copper, yeah, that's not particularly attractive. Getting rid of estates with the apprentice is a little bit better. It is decent. But getting rid of the copper is you would really rather have a dedicated copper trasher to do that for you. So I do pick up the Moneyland and the Peasant on the opening, as does my opponent. I get to convert my Peasant here, which is good, which is very, very good, and only 4 for my opponent, so that is also good. Especially seeing as how I'm going to be able to get the 5 here. Considered Apprentice, but I think the Cultist just has to be way better than the Apprentice. Mostly because there's no nice way to get rid of ruins. You have to rip that chapel out of the black market if you want to go that way. But none of us have black market yet, so oh well. 2 here could be a estate to burn this hovel. The Ironmonger will trigger off the estate, whereas it won't trigger off the hovel. But I go for the peasant, a second peasant here. That one will become a disciple and just serve as a gainer and a throne room in my deck when it comes around. And I was also thinking too, well, I'm gonna convert my soldier here into a fugitive. So what it means is that there'll be one less terminal in my deck, so no big deal adding the peasant at this time. So second peasant for my opponent as well here. So like I mentioned, I am gonna play this soldier over the cultist here. There is the moneylender in the last 3 cards on my deck there, and I do not want to draw that dead. I'd rather not draw it dead. Even though it misses the shuffle, at least maybe I could, thin something with it. So I give up playing the cultist there for a soldier instead, and I exchange that soldier into a fugitive. So well on my way here with the peasant upgrades. None of them has missed the shuffle or anything. So it's very good, very good. And my opponent still has not managed to get to 5. They do have quite a bit of ironmongers, but yeah, still no 5 from them. So I'm happy. And here going to play the moneylender over the cultist because 1, I have the time to do so, and 2, trashing is going to be a big deal, I think. It's going to be important, so I'd rather trash now. There's still 10 runes in the stack, right? I'll dish them out in due time, but I'd rather try to get thin as much as possible at this point. So here, join to the Necropolis, which is a bit fortunate, going to play it and then the cultist, and it allows me to see my peasant. So this game I felt the best for. Like I was ready to play Dominion from this game onwards. The entire match lasted for quite a long time, so I faded a bit at the end here. So this is like at the peak of my powers. I mean, whatever that means, right? For whatever that is worth. But I felt like in a good place to play domain for this game and the next game. Then it starts to go down again. Well, whatever. Anyway, 3 here, uncomfortable, could be black market, but I don't think I could support that many terminals, so just going to put a silver in my deck instead. I will get around to buying a black market as soon as I sort out my terminal problems. So, like my opponent just buys a cultist. So in the same way they didn't have a cultist for a long time, I still don't have an ironmonger. So there's no way for me to get plus actions outside of this necropolis. And I mean, I'm not gonna spend $5 on an ironmonger. I'm gonna buy a cultist for sure. You just have to buy the cultist because of the junking. If I did happen upon a $4 hand, I would pick up the ironmonger and would not be unhappy with that. Especially seeing as how I kind of need the plus actions at this point, right? I have the moneylender, the cultist, and the well, the soldier just got upgraded, but he was there before. What if I want another peasant, another disciple? You know, you don't know my lifestyle. I might want 2 disciples. Anyways, that disciple is dead, which is bad. Obviously, cannot gain an action from it, so that's not so hot. But I am gonna exchange it anyway for the teacher. So I play all these cultists. I could have stopped when I had 5 because I knew the teacher was in the back and I could have set it aside. But you know, putting half the ruins into your opponent's deck is also a decent play, I believe. So that is what happened. All these latent cultists just came out on this turn and blasted my opponent with ruins. Just a pile of ruins onto you. Here I go for the ironmonger. Well, why? I wanted the plus actions and I wanted a target for my disciple. Yeah, that's really why. Maybe that should have been an cultist. Also, like you see, the ruins are done now, right? So the additional cultist would not have helped me to put more ruins in my opponent's deck. Of course, like I said, it is a card from the pile, and when the teacher comes down, it will be worthwhile having the cultist. But I would rather get the ironmonger now, just for a long-term kind of plan, right? Because then the teacher will come down a second time, and I'll need a pile to put another token on, and that I want that to be ironmonger. So that's why I go for the ironmonger. Then, hopefully I can either. Well, I don't have the disciple yet. I will have the disciple now. I can put my disciple down on either the cultist or the ironmonger. So quite a bit of cultists come out there, and it gets me to my teacher, which I am quite happy about seeing that necropolis there. Because what could have happened potentially is that I could have just, he kept drawing past that teacher of dead cultists, which is yeah, terrible. Do not want to do that. Anyways, so I'm gonna put plus action on the cultist and then fly. Fly, fly, fly. Fly means I'm gonna just draw. Uncontrolled draw. Notice here now that I do have the ruin market, which is kind of a not big deal, but it's kind of important given that I don't have any plus buy yet. So I mean, I don't have to actively go get something from the supply like messenger or nomad camp. I do have the ruin. I could get it. I could keep that around and make use of that for my plus buy. Or peasant. I don't have to go picking up a peasant for that. So that was kind of cool, kind of useful. Not like this ruin here, the stupid ruined village. This has to be the worst ruin, right? The ruined village. Like all of them actually do something except this one. Anyways, I do pick up the last cultist, so I have what, maybe 6 or 7 of those. My opponent is going to call their teacher, but put the token on the ironmongers, and I'm happy to see no ironmongers come out. So we'll wait for another turn, maybe to see those ironmongers come to life, come to light. I don't know. Not going to trigger the shuffle here. There's not really a whole lot of things to go back for. There's what, the Rune Market, a Moneylender, and I'm only drawing 2 cards. I could put the Teacher down if I draw it, but nah, I don't think it is worth it. On another note, am I supposed to have 5 actions here? Like, is that how the token works with Cultist? Or did I just, like, make use of some hacks in the game here? I don't know. I actually do use quite a bit of the actions on one of these turns, so I don't know if this thing is doing it properly or not. Like, why would it give me more actions? Yeah, oh, yeah, I understand. Okay, never mind. I'm dumb. Right, back to the game. I do have a black market now. From this selection, I am gonna fish out the armory because it can gain me ironmongers or plus buys if I need it, and give me some a little bit of pile control towards the end of the game because 2 piles are done. I just have to, not choke the game away at this point. And choking away the game would be, just running a pile dangerously low and then having that pile just evaporate in front of your eyes while your opponent has a points lead, as he does right now, because he trashed his hovel with to gain an estate some point earlier on in the game. So there's lots, well, not lots, but there's a few gains for the Ironmonger actually, primarily through the Disciple. So if you could put your Disciple down on an Ironmonger, you'll gain 1. So that's one way. You could get a plus buy. My opponent might have the Ruined Market as well. And there's also Messenger. So buying 1 Messenger will empty 2 Ironmongers. So that's something to keep note of, right? So you could gain 1 of the Disciple, get rid of 2 via Messenger, and maybe buy the last one. So that's 4 gains. Possible. Not at all crazy. My opponent does manage to fish out the city from the black market there, which, I mean, what the hell, man? I wanted the city. That's a great card at this point in the game. 2 cards, money, and a buy. So yeah, now he has the buy too, right? So he could do this pile out if I am not careful. And in light of that, on this turn I am going to pick up a province and a duchy. I figured out the actions thing, right? Because you could chain cultists without having it use up an action. So that's why I keep getting the action bonus there, which is cool. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, this black market, none of these things seem particularly useful. Maybe procession to get rid of ruins, maybe develop has potential also to get rid of ruins, but just the empty piles. But nah, I don't I don't think any of those are much use. And I'm gonna pick a province and a duchy here just to remain well clear of the pile out. And for the lulls, I guess my opponent puts the one of the tokens on the ruins, so that's cool. And I do have enough gas in the tank here to finish out the game. So Armory, a Ironmonger, and then I'm just going to buy the last one, and that province or something. Anyway, that is game 3. Back in this. Thanks for watching.